Amen.
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of TGELF, I would like to welcome you all. I would like to welcome you all to the semi-finals of the Entrepreneurship World Cup India. My name is Amish Shah, and I'm your host for today. We hope that you're safe and well in these times. These past few months have been nothing short of unexpected for the vast majority. COVID-19 has brought along numerous planned events to a halt, prompted cancellation, or shifted to a remote environment. Here at TGELF, we are resilient and believe in converting any obstacle into a victory. With this mindset and limitations that this pandemic has brought about, the Entrepreneurship World Cup 2020 has been transformed into an online event that will take place with the same passion, energy, and enthusiasm as last year. On that note, I'd like to show a video to all our stakeholders. This contest is one of a kind. It is the World Cup for entrepreneurs. The event is also unique in the sense that the startups have been selected from one of the largest application pools EWC has ever witnessed. Before orienting everyone with our event, I would like to introduce TGELF, the national organizers for this event, as well as one of the global hosts of the Entrepreneurship World Cup. TGELF was inaugurated in 2008 by the then Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh. TGELF has been key stakeholders in high impact projects such as Global Citizen India and the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. We at TGELF are very much committed to the values of ethical innovation and progress. And as an organization, have always had a particular bias towards entrepreneurial initiatives. This has resulted in our foundation going beyond work in the traditional realms of social welfare and education, where we are present in 14 countries with our curriculum. We have expanded in entrepreneurship by supporting the development of entrepreneurs, be it through organizing an entrepreneurship school curriculum with the Delhi government or working on ground on initiatives such as the Global Entrepreneurship Summit and working alongside with the World Economic Forum in Davos. So far, the journey with EWC has proved that the project has been a success at scale, with more than 100,000 applications last year from 187 countries, which we've managed to build upon this year with over 175K applications from 200 countries. We have already been achieving high numbers of viewership virtually, despite the turbulence of the pandemic, and are extremely excited for the event today. Best of luck to all the participants from TGELF. Now, I would like to take a moment to thank all our partners. Our partners have been instrumental in our effort and have been key stakeholders in this endeavor for EWC 2020. Moving forward, I would also take a moment to introduce our jury panel for the day. First up, we have Mr. Punya Bharata Sen, who is a subject matter expert and mentor at The Independent. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Sen. Next up, we have Dr. Sandeep Chatterjee, who is the director at the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Chatterjee. Joining us today, we also have Mrs. Kritika Murugesan, the director of 10,000 startups at NASCOM. Thank you so much, Mrs. Murugesan. We also have Mr. Vinod Vasudevan, who is a senior consultant at the Asia unit of Deloitte Tahamutsu Venture Support. And finally, we have Mr. Mahindra Kasula, who is a principal director at Accenture. Thank you so much for all the judges for taking the time to meet our entrepreneurs today. Without further ado, we would like to commence with the pitches for our event today. Just to orient everyone with the format would be a 3-minute pitch followed by a 3-minute Q&A session. The first startup we have is Nanospan. I would request the Nanospan team to start sharing their screen and take it forward. The floor is yours, Nanospan.
Can I start, Ashish?
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, first of all, for EWC for giving the opportunity. We're pretty excited to be part of this semifinals. Today, I will be presenting about Nanospan and what we do, how we do. And I check, yeah. So this is myself, Ravi Sriraman, and I have a colleague, Venkata, who is the CTO of this company. He's also here. So we will both sharing the presentation. Who are we? So Nanospan India is basically a graphene and graphene-based nanocomposite R&D startup. We are about 3.5-year-old startup. We have one facility located in Hyderabad, and we have one in San Jose in USA. Primarily, we are based on graphene material. As you all know, graphene is a single sheet of carbon atoms, which is like a honeycomb structure, lattice structure it has. Because of this structure, it has a very unique and amazing properties, like it has 300 times stronger than steel. It has a conductivity about 13 times more than copper, and electron conductivity is about 100 times faster compared to a silicon. So at Nanospan, what we are trying to do is take these unique properties and then convert them into useful products in the 3 segments which we are focusing right now. One is the protective nanocomposite for the defense and military applications. The second is conductive inks for all smart garments or smart materials. And third, we are focusing on the energy sector of, for example, battery and other kind of supercapacitor type of materials, right? What we do. So as I said earlier, we are a graphene-based company, and we are pretty good in synthesizing graphenes. And we have patents, about 10 patents covering the synthesis of graphene, and then some of them are in the downstream process and taking to the final applications, which can be an input to the end user applications. For example, as I said earlier, supercapacitors or smart garments or RFID or some protective garments, etc. So we take the graphene. Again, graphene comes with a different functionalization, and if we give it to customers, if they are not properly using it, then the entire property cannot be harvested. So we ourselves do our intermediate products, which is kind of one step before the final application kind of stuff. In some cases, we also make the final product, for example, conductive ink. So we make the conductive ink and give it to the people who really need that, either for printing or making some kind of nano structures, etc. Right? So this is how our do. We have a business model of about B2B right now. So what we do is we have generated a lot of IPs, right, starting from the synthesis of graphene to all the way to the productization. We convert, as I said, we convert the graphene with some functionalization, putting in some kind of other material to disperse it, to keep the nano as nano, and then it goes as a final product. So our clients right now are DRDO, so we work with them very closely for some of the applications. IOCL, for example, we collaborate with them for developing supercapacitors for two-wheelers. Navstar is another company we are collaborating for having composites for the radomes. So that's our expertise. Next slide, please. So our vision is to bring in the power of graphene and nanomaterial to revolutionize the way the home and people are protected. As I said, we have two teams, one in India and one in US. This is our Indian team. We are about 7 people here. We have a lab here who basically working on a different aspect of the synthesis. This is our US team who located in San Jose and US Bay Area. Yeah, these are some of the pictures of our lab. We have a world-class lab situated in Hyderabad. So we make graphene work for the world. So thank you very much again for giving the opportunity.
Judges, you can please ask your questions now.
Right. Ravi, this is Punyabrat Sen over here. This
Yes.
is a very good presentation. Thank you very much. I have a question. I don't know if you want to answer it in 2 ways. The first question, the part of it is, why are you doing this material? And for whom are you going to do this? You talked about way homes and people are protected. So can you tell us why you're doing it and for whom you're doing it?
Right. As I said, graphene, it's the thinnest material known to the mankind, right? So we can, and it has so much good properties. One of the properties is thermal conductivity, or it basically gives protection against the fire kind of thing. So if we have come up with some kind of a coating that putting on the garments, so it can, for example, the firefighters, it can basically, there are 2 things we are looking at it. One, it protects the person from the fire. And second, it by using graphene based sensors, we can get the vital informations of the person wearing it, and then
I think you've gone on mute.
I think we lost Mr. Ravi out there for a second.
I may take that question. So with this graphene, we are infused into base materials to improve the properties of the existing material and such a way that we fine tune end users point of view. Let me take one example for this. If the existing lithium battery, the electrode technology is the key factor. So we have a certain electrode materials, and those electrode materials are made out of our proprietary graphene based composites. So this give enhancement 20% to 30% of your lithium battery performance, as well as safety and smart. That is our graphene in a single line. Our graphene innovation brings your existing product, make it stronger, safer, and smarter.
yeah, sorry, there was a power cut at my end, so I disconnected, rejoined. Yeah.
Any other questions, judges? We have time for one.
Ravi and Venkat, maybe if I can ask from a business point of view, like what would be the USP? Like, would if someone with deeper pockets than you come in and put in the R&D, how would you differentiate yourself from other people in the competitive landscape?
Yeah, Ravi?
Yeah, go ahead, Venkat. Yeah.
Yeah. We are, as I mentioned, it is a B2B kind of business model, what we are planning for that, right? So IP is our, and technology transfer kind of thing, or most of the time, it is like a royalty based. If the end user is willing to do the manufacturing side, we are ready to take the technology transfer kind of activity.
Right. But it is possible for other people to replicate what you are doing easily. Is that a fair assumption?
but you can know this is advanced materials, and there are a lot of nanomaterial expertise required manpower side, and there is a more IP related issues. We can't, because that's the reason we have already international patents on our hand, and for that point of view, and also we are trading the trade names of our products also. So it is again I mentioned, which is a huge activity required for R&D.
Understood. Thanks, Venkat.
Can I ask one question?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, the Nanospan team. Up next.
I believe there was one more question from Mr. Chatterjee. Sorry.
Oh, apologies.
Please, Mr. Chatterjee.
Just please go ahead. Yeah.
I'm just asking, your starting material is not graphene. How you are obtaining that graphene? What are the sources you are starting with the material?
Yeah, that is raw material is graphite.
Graphite.
Yeah.
So the process is unique, or this is a common process, synthesis from the graphene from the graphite?
Yeah, graphite to graphene, there are certain number of processes are available in our literature, and globally there are many people are working on that. But the process is unique from my point of view. We have proprietary synthesis routes are there, and we patented that, as I mentioned earlier. But it is unique and it has its own advantages. And coming to supply chain, as you mentioned, the raw materials, we make sure that we have to control the supply chain also, as well as our synthesis routes are green. We avoid the typical acid treatments and all. It is like an aqueous exfoliation method. It is its own unique.
And how it is competitive, whatever you are having in other developed country?
Yeah, if you this one globally, 5 players are working on together, like UK side, from the US side, and India. We can honestly say that we are one of the pioneers in this area, and we are much ahead in R&D activity wise and our proof of concepts. Let me take one guy, Lowe's Innovation Labs. We are currently working on with them for different POCs. So such a way that our customers giving very good feedback on our product wise, the prototypes wise.
Thank you. Thank you to the Nanospan team. Up next, we have LazyCo. I request the LazyCo team to have their pitch decks ready and share their screen the moment we have stopped sharing our screen. Over to you, LazyCo.
Sure, I'm ready. Hope you can see the screen.
Yes.
Right. All right. So let's start. Hi, my name is Apurv Shankar. I'm the co-founder of LazyCo. We are a Bangalore-based startup started in 2017, a team of product designers with a background in data, deep science and engineering. And we have been working in the area of human-computer interaction for the past 4 years. I'll just give you a brief about what that area is. And before that, we have been in the startup space for the past 3-4 years. And our global subscriber count is 5,000. And one of our subscribers is called the product which we're about to showcase, the best tech inventions they've ever seen. Yanko Design called our product the best or the future of wearables. We've been awarded by Qualcomm, Alibaba, and many such bigger companies. Now, human-computer interfaces area is the area through which basically the hardware interface through which we interact with the digital services or devices. The first devices were the mouse or the keyboards, and then of course came the smartphone with the touch screen. And now we can't even dissociate touch screens and smartphones. We've sort of we've so got accustomed to that. We can't think that touch screen is an interface for the smartphone. What we are trying to do is create an interface which is much more advanced than a smartphone touch screen and take the humans to the future of interaction with computers. In 2007, it was great touchscreen. We used to take phone calls through it, browse internet through it, play music through it. But in 2020, we are handling about 120, 140 different applications on the smartphone touchscreen, and taking the phone out of the pocket, unlocking it, swiping and finding the right shortcut, and then getting into the right shortcut to book a cab or to make a payment is something is just a waste of time in 2020. Of course, we are not facing, understanding these as problems because we haven't experienced the next level of it. But that's what we are trying to get to. You won't waste any of this time, 12 seconds to control smart home, making payments, booking cabs, things which you do on a regular basis from a smartphone. The way we're going to interact with phones and in technology, digital services is going to change. We are creating a device that is 700% faster than smartphone touchscreen and 300% faster than even voice interfaces, which are considered state of the art of the future. I introduce you to Aina, an AI-powered smart ring, which is designed as an AI remote for your smartphone that knows what you want next and shows you the right shortcut at the right time on its curved edge display. It's also the first ring which has a display on top, and you use one of the easiest motions the human body can perform, swiping the thumb over the index finger in 4 different directions to control these shortcuts. The magic of Aina is artificial intelligent user interface. Suppose you wake up at 7 in the morning. You will find a shortcut to switch on the coffee machine. You swipe up and the coffee machine starts brewing coffee. While you're having breakfast, you will find a shortcut to book a cab to work. You swipe up and the cab to office is booked. It already knows what cab you want, what price point you want it at. You swipe up and the task gets done. From a 30-second struggle on a touchscreen to 2 seconds on Aina. Now you're about to sleep, you'll find a shortcut to switch off the room lights, swipe down and the room lights are off. Aina makes your life super simple. It just skips all the work which is being done with your smartphone by browsing and swiping. In
Thank
addition
you.
to this, sorry?
Thank you. It's time for Q&A.
Oh, is it? Okay. Sure.
Over to you, judges.
Shankar, this is very interesting. Apur, sorry. So I have a quick question. I mean, I know you haven't been able to complete the presentation. Aina is something that you have created, is it?
Yes.
And in terms of the applications that you're using it, have you also looked into applying it into the banking space in terms of consumer interactions and all?
Sorry, have I been able to apply in?
Into the banking space in terms of the consumer, in terms of how the banking consumers from a retail aspect are, I mean, have you interacted in any form in trying to apply it on a banking scale? Have you?
No, we have been focused on the consumer market. We already did a small crowdfunding campaign. We raised $40,000 in pre-orders, majorly from the US, which was also a 30x ROI on marketing. So we figured that B2C is a better way for us, and the kind of virality which we've received and the awards which we've received has been because of our focus on the B2C area. So we are trying to target the smart home market in the US first.
Okay. And in terms of this particular market, as you just mentioned, what are your future plans in the sense in terms of taking it across? I mean, US is the current market you have, but what are your plans going ahead?
Sure. So see, there are, since it's an interface and is designed as a, from a human body's perspective, as an interface, when I compare with AR glasses or smartphone touchscreens or, voice interfaces also, this seems to be the natural choice which has to come because it's just easier to use. And, eventually we'll adapt to this option, which is easier to use. So initially we're targeting the US market first, through online channels, crowdfunding campaigns, wherein, wearables and such products typically tend to go viral and reach out to a bigger audience without spending on marketing a lot. Secondary audience here is people who are looking at fitness tracking with fashion as a use case. For example, people who are wearing traditional attires, smartwatches don't look good on them, right? People who are wearing robes in the UAE, people who are wearing sarees in India, people who are wearing Nehru jackets in India. A fitness tracker, if they want, they won't really find one which looks good with their regular attire, right? So different parts of Aina sort of caters to different use cases of different audiences. So these are the first primary and secondary target markets for us. We generally go through them online and Facebook as a social media channel or marketing channel.
Thank you.
Quick question. Can I ask if you have had any sales already?
We have received $40,000 in pre-orders. That's 170 orders which we've done. We haven't shipped it yet. We are still raising funds to start production of Aina. We've received great feedback from excitement. It's been, the biggest YouTube channels in the world are wanting to get a tech review done for the product, but we are still not in the production phase yet. So we are raising funds to get that production done because it's got a custom OLED display and all those things. So that takes some time.
Understood. Thank you.
Thanks.
I had a quick question about the team. Could you
Sure.
share some details on the team?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Glad that came. So we are a team from IISc Bangalore, engineer turned product designers. Both me and Yogansh have done our product design masters from IISc, have been working in human-computer interfaces and some electronics devices for the past 3-4 years, have worked on the brain-computer interfaces also in some projects that we did at IISc. and eventually figured that this is the best way of moving forward to take humanity forward from the smartphone touchscreen and dissociate from the smartphone touchscreen, because it was just getting too annoying. The usage of smartphone touchscreen is too old. I mean, I am surprised we are still here, but that's what the background has been. Plus, of course, we have a data scientist from ISC Bangalore who's also worked at Samsung before, and Ankit is our Android app developer. We've won several awards over the past few years, been a speaker at Microsoft Research around the same topic, and even at Indian Chamber of Commerce. So that's what her background has been. We were a part of Qualcomm Accelerator as well, have a strong manufacturing network across the East also.
Thank you, Apoorv, for your time.
Thank you so much.
Next up, we have Incredible Devices Private Limited. May I request the team to be ready and share their screen shortly. Thank you. Over to you.
Hi, is my voice audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Namaskar, my name is Vikram Goyal, founder Incredible Devices. Incredible Devices is a medtech startup with a mission to make healthcare safe, affordable, and accessible for all sections of society, irrespective of patient's social status, economical class, and geographical reach. So basically, here we are democratizing this elite healthcare infrastructure for all. So according to World Health Organization, cardiovascular diseases are the #1 cause of death globally. And post-pandemic, this statement still stays valid. And the biggest cause why we are losing so many patients is the high cost of treatment. In India, there are 32 million cardiovascular patients, and 8 out of 10 patients die because they cannot afford the treatment cost. So as a founder, we left our job in a quest to find answer why this treatment is so expensive and how we can make it affordable. So doctors use angiography and doctors perform angiography and angiography and use catheters and balloons, which are high cost consumables for the treatment. And we spend close to 80% of the amount on this high cost consumable only. So in order to make treatment cost effective in absence of any automatic device, doctors in developing nations are cleaning them manually and to provide treatment to the most vulnerable patient. But despite their best efforts, 72% of this manually cleaned catheter are found infected with blood. Although they are able to save the life, but the patient ends up with second or third infection. To resolve all these problems, we developed a patented technology called catheter reprocessing system. It's a government of India approved medical device, which is a fully automatic machine that reprocesses wide range of articles, not only catheter balloon, but other accessories as well. And the beauty of this device is that it helps us reduce the cost of the catheter by 99%. For example, a catheter balloon, which earlier cost 90,000 rupees or $1,400 to a patient, is now available at a cost of less than 50 cents or less than 20 rupees, making treatment affordable even for a rickshaw puller or a tea hawker in the country or in other developing nations. And apart from that, it helps ensure safety of patients as well as medical workers. So far, we have deployed our technology across 9 states in India and touched the life of over 250,000 patients and benefited over 550,000 medical staff workers as well. And the biggest beneficiary here is the environment, where we have avoided 4 lakh or 400,000 catheters being dumped in landfills, causing further viral infection. The team behind this technology is myself, Rajendra ma'am, Ina, and Mr. Ajit Chandra, which altogether bring over 80 years plus of experience in the medtech experience in this project.
Thank you,
Vikram. And in this pandemic world, we have upgraded our technology to reprocess ventilator as well. So in the case of COVID scenario, the same device, the advanced version, is able to disinfect all the ventilator and its accessory, reducing the treatment cost and avoiding hospital-acquired infection among medical workers as well. Thank you.
Judges, the floor is open for any questions.
So Vikram, quick question here. I mean, I saw the last slide in terms of you've been supported by those organizations.
Yes,
in support in which sense, in the sense, if you can elaborate a bit?
So sir, we are a 3-year-old startup. So we have received incubation support from IIT Kanpur. We have received initial seed funding from some companies as well. And apart from that, there are certain like DBS Foundation. They help us to reach out the India's top 3 hospitals. They help us donate this technology to the needy hospital. And similarly, Maharashtra State Innovation Society, they have selected us, and now we are getting an order of 3 machines at Maharashtra State amid the COVID pandemic. So such kind of supports are there.
Okay, perfect. And in terms of the product that you're having, I mean, is this the only product you are developing, or are there other products also that you are having in space for now?
Sir, there are 4 variants which are available as of now. The 3 variants are catheter reprocessing system, balloon reprocessing system, then we have catheter balloon reprocessing system. So these 3 products are tackling to cardiovascular, neuro, renal, and hepatology segment and gastro. And then we have ARS, advanced reprocessing system, which is for the benefit of COVID patients. So COVID ventilators, so infection among the ventilator part, to avoid all those, we have ARS.
Okay. And in terms of the balloon and the catheter balloon reprocessing pieces, are you developing that as well?
So, sir, we have received test license. So another thing about this project is we are not only manufacturing this catheter reprocessing system in the machine, we are developing solutions around it. So to run this machine, you require chemical. So we are also manufacturing chemical. And sir, coming back to your question, we have also received test license from Government of India to manufacture reusable catheters as well.
Right.
So we are working on it. Then pandemic struck, so thoda project hold hai.
Okay, so the license is there with you. Okay, excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Thanks.
Thank you.
So very quick question on the follow-up of the license. Have you done clinical testing and have you got the approval for all of that?
Exactly, sir. So the catheter reprocessing segment is a CDSU registered product. We have also received the CDSU registration number for all the segments. For the catheter parts, the reusable catheters, clinical studies are going on. So we have only received the test license, and now we have to submit the data to obtain that reusable certificate. But because this pandemic has stuck in between, so all our clinical research are now on hold because hospitals are struggling with the COVID patients.
Thank you, Vikram. Thank you, judges.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Next up, we have Tresley Labs. So I request the Tresley Labs to share the screen, please.
Yeah, hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pony Dave, founder of Tresley Labs, where we are making learning inclusive for the blind and the visually impaired people. Solving for the 57 million visually impaired people in India who cannot access printed, handwritten, and digital content independently because they are heavily reliant on Braille and audiobooks, which in case of a 300-page audiobook takes anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks to be audio recorded. To solve this, we have built Kibo, a one-stop solution to access any kind of printed, handwritten, or digital documents out loud in audio in real time across 12 Indian and multiple overseas languages. The Kibo platform consists of the Kibo Access device, the Kibo mobile application, and the Kibo Desk SaaS portal. Having launched the Kibo Access device in July 2019, we are now across 15 states in India, more than 130 plus institutions, and 5 countries. Having launched the Kibo mobile app in July 2019, we are empowering over 22,000 plus visually impaired people worldwide who have cumulatively accessed more than 1.7 million plus documents with an overall engagement time in excess of 10 million plus minutes. So be it the hundreds of reviews we have received on Play Store, the user-generated video tutorials on the Kibo mobile application and our product, the letter of recommendation from IIM Ahmedabad on how Kibo Access is empowering Pinky, who is a visually impaired professor with the Haryana government, on how she's able to assess the handwritten answer sheets of her students. All these is a testimony that our users love us. We are talking about the customer segments. Our primary customer segments include blind and visually impaired people, inclusive schools and universities, blind schools, NGOs, government public libraries, as well as workplaces. Our revenues come through the direct sales of the Kibo Access device, the subscription charges on the Kibo mobile app and the Kibo Desk SaaS portal, and the AMC charges. We are a team of highly enthusiastic and intrinsically motivated tech entrepreneurs who are passionately driven to drive growth in people's lives, backed by a strong advisory support, which includes the likes of Dr. Charudit Jadhav, who himself is visually impaired but heads global accessibility with TCS. We want to make Kibo a global brand for content accessibility, and we have consciously made an effort to build a truly inclusive platform, which not only offers inclusive education and employment for the visually impaired, but also offers digitization services for braille, audio, and ebook production, as well as translation services for government offices and academic use, which during the COVID-19 pandemic, I'm happy to share that we are working with the government of Karnataka to digitize the documents issued by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, which are typically in Hindi and English, and translated it down to Kannada. And our products are well in line with the new national education policy, which heavily focuses and emphasizes on regional content, you leveraging technology and ensuring equal access to education for the disabled community as well. And over this period, we've been supported by various organizations, but the best, I tell you, was when our user Dipali called us up to say, sir, I've cleared my second year BA exam thanks to the content we made accessible on Kibo. And this is the empowerment that we want to see in people's lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Bonnie, Bonnie, quick question because we are short on time. Could you describe the product technically? Is it like an OCR product?
Okay, so the product leverages a part of OCR. So I'll tell you, the Kibo mobile application supports 7 file formats. It's the only accessible application supporting PDF, EPUB, DAISY, TXT, DocX, and even audiobooks. So that I'll tell you another example of how are we much more than OCR. For an example, imagine a person is listening to a text, an e-text, and if he wants to highlight the text, all the user does is clicks on a button and the application, the interface automatically highlights the text. So we call it audio highlighting. So the user is listening to the text and in the background it's highlighting the text. So the user can start highlight, stop highlight, and that piece of text gets highlighted and stored in a separate notes tab. So like we scribble down things next door, we are replicating the same experience that we have when engaging with books and enabling it for the visually impaired community. To give you very quickly, give you another example, you scan
Bonnie,
in the keyboard.
Bonnie, I understood. I just don't want to take other judges' time, but just one more question in terms of language support. How many languages do you support?
We in-house support currently 22 languages, 12 Indian. Our focus was on Indian languages, 12 Indian languages.
All right. Thanks, Bonnie. Great job. Maybe to the other judges.
Yeah.
Bonnie, this is excellent. I mean, any plans that you have to have a smartphone version of this?
Yes.
I mean, okay. If you can just give a 10-second piece on that, what it is.
Okay. Yeah. So primarily, if you look at the current device is our 80% of the market segment is more B2B, and going forward, while we are already have a large user base on the Kibo mobile application, we do plan to have a smartphone version of the Kibo Access device as well, in which the user can go ahead and mount his or own smartphone, and that can eventually read out the text for him as well. So that will be B2C, but we wanted to start with B2B because we wanted to establish credibility first and then venture into, because B2C reaching out is tough. So we started with B2B at this one.
No, I love the product. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Can I get in a quick question, which is how scalable is your product?
Yeah, to give you an example, very recently, TCS Singapore actually were interested in the product, but they wanted the support for Chinese and Malay language to be integrated in our product. So we were able to manage it pretty quickly in a span of about 2 months, and we shipped the product to TCS Singapore there. And ever since then, the 5 countries I told, so India, Singapore, apart from that, Kenya, Ghana, and Tanzania are the 3 other countries where we have actually scaled our product, though not to a large extent, but yes, with the support for those regional languages as well.
Thank you so much, Bonnie.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Next up, we have ARCA Research. I request the ARCA Research team to share the screen, please.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to present about ARCA Research to the esteemed panel. I'm Gayatri. I'm the founder and CEO of ARCA Research. We all are at risk of developing cardiovascular diseases, as like one of other companies has mentioned, but we are also at the risk of developing chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes and hypertension and all. And every decade that we age, the risk of developing these diseases is doubling. And right now, that is like the biggest concern for WHO, United Nations and all, and it is actually costing about like 1.5 trillion worldwide for all the insurance and indirect costs to treat these diseases. And actually have the disease versus like people who are at risk of disease are actually in double, but there are currently no methods to identify if you are at risk of developing these diseases. Blood tests and all only help you to identify if you are already having a disease or not, but there is no way of figuring out if you are at on a risk scale, like where the risk of you developing the disease per se. So our solution is actually creating a new vertical and for this at-risk one. One of the biggest advantages of our technology is like this completely non-invasive. So we actually take a 1-minute thermal video, as you can see from the screen, of the face of the user, and we use computer vision, machine learning, and discrete signal processing on top of it to extract biosignals that are representative of your pulse flow. And we actually use our machine learning models to identify a person getting this disease on a scale of 10. So for a person who is already, who is not yet diagnosed, it actually shows us like potential diabetic or potential hypertensive or potential dyslipidemia. Whereas a person who is already having a disease, it actually says whether the condition is in control or not. The beauty of it is this is painless and this is accurate. And a user can walk into any screening center in a 5 minutes period. We're actually able to generate this report. So this is almost real time from taking of the video to the generation of the report. So this is like has a 96% of sensitivity and about like 92% of specificity even in our clinical trials that has been done. This is, like I said, we're a first of its kind technology in the globe, and we have filed 5 patents on this. This is medically reviewed, and currently we are incubated in NASCOM in Bangalore Center, and we also got funding from Ministry of Entrepreneurship and Technology to take this forward. So currently our model is B2B, and in the launch of like 4 months, we are able to generate good revenue. Our partners are currently insurance companies, employers, and all. So the team is me. I'm a second-time entrepreneur. I have actually previous successful exit of running a marketing analytics company. I'm also electrical engineering background. I have a chief scientist who has done her PhD in thermography, and a computer scientist and a doctor and an operation expert as part of the team. Yeah, I'm open for questions.
This seems like a very, very interesting product that you're actually in. How accurate is it? I mean, I know you're saying it is accurate, but not having an invasive process is unheard of for the last 50 years or 40 years at least. I mean, can you tell something more about how we have been able to deal with this, and how is the industry taking this?
Sure. Actually, from the accuracy point of view, a lot of times the blood tests, which are like non-invasive in this matter, are actually only able to identify your glucose levels once they are like reaching a certain stage. But before that, your arteries are actually going through a certain progression that is called endothelial dysfunction. And that is exactly what we are measuring using our technology. So all the doctors, the minute like we say that like our measurement is actually in comparison with endothelial dysfunction is actually having a higher accuracy. In fact, we do carotid on the neck of the carotid artery, and that's what we compare our results with. And industry because we are in the preventive healthcare space, employers are actually loving us, and also insurance companies are loving us because we are actually giving the risk profile of the people. And when we are directly going to the people, they're actually more excited because this is non-invasive, and we are seeing that number as a risk profile on a scale of 10, you're at 6. That's a wake-up call for all of these people to say, like, maybe it's time for me to stop smoking, So yeah.
Excellent. And any sort of challenge? Sorry, I just have one small question.
Sure.
What sort of challenges are you facing currently?
So from the challenges per se, like, I mean, when we started, we actually thought like doctors would add up this more, but then, diagnostic was pre-diagnostics, I guess. And so for us, we just have to fine tune our model, and COVID has been a bit of a spoil sport, but then again, we used us to actually get like our regulatory. We already had a meeting with FDA. We already had our ISO going on. So we could use this, time to actually get the regulatory in place.
That's a quick question.
Yeah.
Is your product just the software, or it comes with the thermal imaging camera?
So the thermal camera is just the hardware. The software is like whatever proprietary. We are actually positioning this as a healthcare as a SaaS model. So yeah, we're completely proprietary on that front. Yes.
Right. So the revenue is from our subscription.
Yes.
Model,
so what we are doing is we are actually packaging the hardware, which we get like for a deep discount, because the thermal cameras tend to be a bit costlier. But we are actually packaging our software along, and we are giving for 250 rupees for all these 3 tests together. And for NGOs, we are actually charging 50 rupees. So
great. Yeah, I would love to connect to you. I'd love to connect to you with similar work for Niramai before, which is very similar to what do. But let's talk later. Thank you. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Very quick question, guys. You talked about regulatory requirements.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm aware of what you're doing, and this falls into the population health sort of spectrum.
Yes.
There's a lot of work going on in the US. Now, there is a data privacy issue over here.
Yes, sir.
And it's a very big, major issue.
Yep.
I did notice you have an insurance company who is supporting you.
Yes, sir.
So how are you, I mean, FDA is fine, that's one part of the story. But how are you tackling the data privacy issue?
So from the European Union point of view, we have GDPR, and from the US point of view, we do have like HIPAA that we do have to adhere in terms of the patient primary information. And so when we are talking to the insurance companies or even for the employers, we do not give the individual data. We actually anonymize and do the entire profiling of the company. And our report directly goes to the individual user. Unless the individual user gives us an explicit consent, which is actually taken in a digital format, we do not share this report with anyone, even if the company is the one which is sponsoring this report. So we do take cybersecurity as like one of the major concerns, and also data privacy as like one of the major priorities for us in developing this product.
So you have set of firewalls between the data manager, data administrator, and
yes, sir. We do have the role-based access. We do have like a different AWS settings that like we are using for our cloud infra to manage, different roles and all. And we do have like all the privacy in place. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question, Dr. Gayatri?
Sure, please, sir.
What is the failure study? Have you done any failure test? What is the percentage?
So for us, like the comparison, what we had to do is because from the specificity point of view, actually, sensitivity is actually, we are scoring like 96%. From the specificity, we are actually able to score about like 92%, and p-value is like 0.03 when we are comparing with HbA1c for a high-risk patients. But for the low and medium risk patients that we are identifying, there is no other test. So what we are doing is on a clinical trial, we're actually expanding it to multiple quarters to do a follow-up study and to make sure that like what we are giving is actually the true positive. Yes.
Amir, you're on mute.
Apologies for that. I was just thanking Gayatri for her time and the judges for their questions. Next up, we have Kritsnam. May I request the Kritsnam team to please share their screen? May I also request all startups to place themselves on mute if they aren't speaking?
Hello. Can you see me? Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Yes. This is Kiran Kumar from IIT Kanpur. So at Kritsnam, we are a team. We work in water management solutions. We are startup funded and incubated by IIT Kanpur. So the problem we are focusing on is water. So in India, there is actually there is no shortage of water, but we are very poor in managing our own water. So these are some of the data. We actually came up with a real-time solution where we monitor water level. We have manufactured the water monitoring instrument using radar and ultrasonic based applications. This is called as water level instrument, which measures the water fluctuations on rivers, canals, and other streams up to 40-meter range. So we have also come up with another solution where we can also we manufactured ultrasonic flow meter, where it can be installed in pipes, and we can monitor our daily and hourly and monthly consumption of water. It is actually an industrial application where heavy water consuming industries actually take more water, and they need to monitor water. They have to report to the government, to the pollution control boards, and other regulatory bodies. So we are also working on evapotranspiration meter, where we can monitor the soil moisture index and all. So these are some of the decision support systems: Ishwar, Garuda, and Therma. So these are how we work on the products we give up to the government and B2B and B2G. So these are some of the examples. This is radar water level instrument deployed on Rudraprayag Alaknanda River. So this is a flow meter we have deployed in a factory where it consumes a lot of water and it needs to monitor in Kanpur. This is a soil moisture measurement instrument. It monitors the weather parameters and how through the ISRO satellites. And we actually are an IoT company. We transmit data to a cloud, and where the end user can see the data of water fluctuations, discharge, and all on an online platform, where he can, by using his username and password, he can see his data online on a mobile or an application. So data transfer to GPRS 3G and 4G range up to 40 meters. So we have also have a project named Dharma, where we can monitor our water to the villages, and equitable water management, distribution of water to every villages, and every end user of the village should get the same water management is what we are working, and it's called as equitable water management. So these are some of the decision support systems we give to the government irrigation department, and how they are being helped by this particular application through IoT. So this is some sort of solutions we give to the end customer, that is our government, maybe government and its industries. So we actually develop innovative ways of aesthetics, like to reduce the vandalizing and stealing of the devices from the sites like this. Our business model is direct instrument sale. We get one-time revenue. The customers are B2B and B2G, both government departments and industries and commercials. Who commercials are actually heavy water consuming industries. These are the B2B segment. We also have a data as a service model. It's based on monthly subscription. We also give decision support system to the government and education departments and other central water commissions. So we have a one-time annual payment and annual subscription. We also give annual maintenance cost. We also include in that.
Thank you, Kiran.
Yeah.
Your time's up. Judges, the floor is yours for any questions.
Kiran, one quick question: who are your customers and how do they use your data right now?
So our customers are both government and heavy water using industries, sir. Like
how do they use that data?
So the industries need to monitor their water consumption on a regular pattern. So they have to deploy flow meters in their factories or setups, so that they monitor the water. So we monitor the data and we send it to the online cloud, where they can access the data in any remote location.
Okay. Can you quickly also tell about your team, because I think you could not have enough time to mention about your team.
Yes. So we are a team. We are alumni of IIT Kanpur. We did our graduation and post graduations from IIT Kanpur. This is our team. See Harsha, he's a CEO from hydrology department. Prithvi from electronics department, and Vinay is from the civil department. So myself, I'm Kiran Kumar from material science and engineering, sir, from same IIT Kanpur. So we have different background, and we have been experts in different fields.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So Kiran, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
There are lots of these water meters in the market today with different functionalities. How is your product different, or how are you thinking about like what is next, right? One is it kind of monitors all of this and you have data around this, but what happens after that, right? And how are you different from what is existing in the market?
In the market, actually, there isn't any flow meter where we can, kind of, we actually have a 3G, 4G transmission module inbuilt. We manufacture it in house, and we place it in the industries so that it can't be tampered. Like many water consuming industries, what they do is they give the wrong data to the government and agencies so that they can, kind of skip the fees on the environmental norms. So here is where Kritznam's IoT based ultrasonic flow meter comes in, and it keeps the checks on the. It is like win-win situation for both industries and government regulatory bodies. Yeah.
Thank you, Kiran.
Yeah.
Next up, we have our final pitch for today's event, and that's Abstract Ideas. I request the Abstract Ideas team to start sharing their screen and to start their pitch. Diptesh, you're sharing your screen right now.
I'm extremely sorry for the inconvenience. I went on mute and I was sharing. Sorry. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Diptesh Mukherjee and I'm representing Abstract Ideas. This is about real estate and affordable robots. The problem statement that we are trying to attack here is the unorganized construction process of real estate, mismanagement of manpower, where there is less than 50% productivity and shortage of skilled labor, with a huge amount of downtime for project delays, and it's a very cumbersome process. So what we have invented is Sigma. Sigma is the world's first AI-based, completely unmanned wall and ceiling painting robot, which completes the automation of interior painting and priming, because we have started attacking painting and priming first, and will move forward towards the next processes. It reduces up to 60% OPEX cost reduction, the salaries of people. You don't need anybody to control this. This is a robot which you just place in the middle of a room, and it will automatically paint or prime the walls or the ceilings, leaving aside any kind of switchboards or glass windows, etc., etc. It can work continuously for 8 to 10 hours a day without any downtime. And it is a completely dump-proof device. So people who are working in the real estate industry and do not have a lot of knowledge about operating device, they can also do it. It has the capability of painting walls and ceilings both, and works on all kinds of surfaces with a huge painting speed of 500 square feet per hour. The market size for this is around $6 billion for India as a country alone. And our market validation and pilots have been guided by ANJ Group, which is one of the largest interior construction company in India. We are incubated at Sign IIT Bombay, and we have our product feedback from Rustamji Group, Raheja Group, and Hiranandani Group, and Gundecha Group. Our business model is sales of the device with direct owned channels and distributors, along with the key partners as the IPCs, the real estate developers, the paint manufacturing companies, and industrial vendors. Our go-to-market strategy is first doing pilots and personal assistance, moving on to sales and service for large interior construction companies, and moving forward mid-sized construction companies at a B2B model. On a competitor benchmarking, there have been devices which are semi-automatic, needs a lot of construction, needs not a lot of assembly at the site. This is a portable device, which is a value for proposition for the money. We had won the 9th Entrepreneurial Summit in Taiwan in 2018 and received funds from the government and featured in various media for this. We are two friends from childhood doing this. I have been from IIT Bombay with over 5 years of experience, and Pradipto has been on the product innovation with 7 years of experience in US. We are mentored and incubated at IIT Bombay. Thank you. Please let me know if you have any questions.
So Diptesh, you're renting out the devices to your customers. What is the revenue model, if I did not get it correctly? Sorry.
It's basically multiple models. One is direct sales of the device on an easy EMI for singular contractors who say probably spends around 70 to 80,000 rupees on laborers, but right now with this can do an EMI of 15,000 and save a direct OPEX in its monthly expenses. And for B2B, it's a direct sales.
Understood. Thank you. And could you also speak about current traction? How many customers do you have, and what kind of sales or ARR are you looking at right now?
We currently have 4 customers, basically 4 real estate companies. We have just started, but unfortunately the pandemic happened. And we are doing the pilot production and customer field usability test, etc. And we wish to launch it next year, around June.
Understood. Understood.
Any more questions, judges?
Yeah, I have one question. Pardon my ignorance, Diptesh, but from what I know about painting a house, right, there are multiple steps involved in it, and it's especially when you're repainting a place, right? So how does that kind of fit in, or how does it work?
Okay, so the pre-processes and the post-processes that we are talking about here is very clumsy, it's very cumbersome. So it is a device which paints very precisely. So when it gets to corners or edges or ceilings, or you have, a small bit outside the window, it precises of the painting at that point of time. So the messy thing goes away, number one. And the second thing is, on the say putty or on the cementing, etc., we have not gone there yet, but we wish to transform this device into an all-in-one kind of device itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Diptesh.
In terms of, sorry, can I add one more question, Amir, if we have time?
Of course, please.
Yeah. So in terms of technological challenges or like the improving the product in the way forward, what would you like to do in terms of making a version 2 of your product? What are the challenges?
Okay, version 2. The challenges are going to be, right now the device weight is around 17 kgs. To make it portable, real portable, and also it's a small device. It's a 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet device. So, and it has to paint stably a 14 feet wall at a max. So we yet need to make it more portable, and I guess vendor management is going to be a issue. We cannot, to scale up this product, we cannot make everything in-house. We just have to have the artificial intelligence algorithm, because you don't need to measure your walls. Say your walls has discontinuities, right? So it takes care of everything. You don't have to give any inputs to the device itself. So we need to have the algorithm at our hands. The rest of the things are mechanical stuffs which can be made by anybody across the world. So scalability.
Thank you, Ritesh. Makes sense. Okay. Thanks. Stay connected.
Thank you. And with that, we have commenced our pitches for today. Thank you all for joining us today. It's time for a brief stopover while the judges deliberate, and we'll be back with the enthralling results. So please stay tuned, and I request the judges to join the breakout room for deliberation. Thank you, startups and judges, for joining us today. Over the past few months, it was our pleasure to engage such a diverse group of startups and gain exposure to such amazing and fascinating stories and solutions. At EWC, we would like to thank and acknowledge the effort each entrepreneur has dedicated to be here with us. We would like to thank the judges for joining us and supporting us on this endeavor. On that note, I would like to request all the judges to address the startups and let them know their thoughts regarding this event. May I invite Mr. Sen first?
Thank you, Amir. Thank you all the startups. It had been an incredible couple of hours that we had with all of you. All of you have some fantastic ideas. You all have a great team, and you've actually come up with a fantastic product, each one of you. And what we could see, there was a lot of hard work, dedication, commitment in the stuff that you had done and the dreams that all of you were dreaming of. There was some all of you were equals in your product and your pitch and the people that were there. But at the end of the day, the semifinal is a semifinal. So there has to be a first among equals, which I'll leave till later on. So all of you, again, thank you very much for all your efforts. Thank you for the brilliant way you have dreamt of how you can change the lives of so many people. And best of luck going forward. Thank you.
May I request the other judges also to please address the audience?
So maybe a quick word from my side. I mean, I agree with what Mr. Sen said. I mean, all of them presented a lot of passion in terms of what their product was and how their product was actually giving benefits. I think it was a I think we had some very good points that was illustrated, and I think there are great potential that can be leveraged and be produced by these innovation and the solutions that are being produced. So I wish them all the very best, and I think that it's a fight among equals. I might actually put it this way. So all the very best to you guys.
From my side, this is actually a really tough competition. I should appreciate the effort of all the applicants. This really, you have a very great idea, but always, one has to be come first. But I, from Government of India, from METI side, I wish all the best for your effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chatterjee.
Kritika, you want to go next? I'll go after you.
Yeah, no, I firstly like to, Amir, congratulate you and your team. I think this was a very, very well put together program and an event. And I think even your platform and everything, I think is extremely well thought through. So I definitely want to, say thank you for that. And secondly, to all these startups, I think if each of these, what I think Professor already, Dr. Sen already said that it's the best among equals is what it is here. And I think each of these platforms and competitions like this do give each of you, one other thing to learn from the questions that come from the judges and from the panels. And I seriously think you should take that into consideration as you move along, because this is just the beginning in most cases. So with that, I'd like to, wish you all the very best. And, we'd be connecting back with some of you to see how we could, work together more closely. So again, all the best to all of you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. I'll just chip in with with my 2 cents. I think I agree with all the judges, and they said, I think Dr. Sen, Kritika, Mr. Chatterjee, everyone, we all agreed on, all the startups have, especially because I come from a Japan-India angle where, my job is mainly based on bringing Japanese investors who are really focusing on Indian startups, especially on social impact startups, because that's how Japanese corporates normally work on the creating shared value aspect. So I was very happy to see that all of the startups that Amir and Dinesh, kudos to the whole team. Basically, I know how difficult it is to run the logistics for an event like this. So I really appreciate that. And I'm really happy to see that some of the startups I would really, actually all of the startups, I would really be very happy to connect to some of my Japanese investors. And we can work together. It doesn't really matter who technically wins in this event, but all of you are doing really good, socially as well as morally the right things. So happy to connect to all of you, and we just have to choose one name so that they can represent India at the international level at some point of this Entrepreneurship World Cup. So really happy to see all of you, and for me, all of you are winners. And I know it sounds cliched, but it really is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, judges. As many of you must have seen the screen earlier, we'd like to announce the finalist for the national finals, which will happen on September 10th. So the finalist from this semifinals is Arca Research. Sorry,
thank you.
Something wrong with the screen. My apologies for that.
Roll. Yeah, no, it's drum roll. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much. Pleasure presenting to you panel today, and very, very happy to be able to participate in this event. Looking forward.
But that's not it for all the other startups. We have our national finals on September 10th, as mentioned earlier. Tomorrow, we have the remaining 2 semifinals followed by which we will announce all the finalists on September 10th by 11:59 p.m. So for many of the participants who have pitched during this event, there is still scope for many of you to be selected for the national finals. So I urge all of you to stay tuned and stay on the platform for further updates. And I would just like to end by saying that the Entrepreneurship World Cup is an ecosystem with innovation at its core. We hope that the community thrives in a manner similar to many ventures that all of you have embarked on. We urge all entrepreneurs to remain active on the EWC platform. Stay tuned for updates from further events and look forward to our announcements for the national finals. On that note, the EWC India team would like to sign off. Thank you so much, judges and startups, for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.